I think first and foremost, I think everyone would be happy, from relieved to happy to excited about the content of the budget, but also the direction of the budget. These were, as the finance minister started with, these were really exceptional times. Rarely has it happened in the history of budgetary management that you present a budget which was which was last year, and within no time the budget becomes very badly impacted because of a national lockdown of the kind that we saw. And we are ending the year with a 9.5% deficit, and yet for the government to not rush to contain and choke the economy and to rein in the deficit, but to be very prudent, be calibrated, and yet be very prudent and focus on growth, that I think is the biggest highlight. I think the fact that there are no significant new taxes, we have seen a cess, we will need to know a little more about it, but the fact that there are no new taxes either on the corporate sector or on individuals is a sign that the government recognizes the stress and challenge that everybody is going through, and I think this will send out a really strong message. In terms of the initiatives, I think, as Pankaj Bhai was saying, the spotlight on social infrastructure, including healthcare and education, especially healthcare, is really welcome. It couldn't have come a day too soon. On education, there are a whole lot of initiative. I personally think that the new national education policy is a very progressive document, and this seeks to build on that. That's a very good one. On physical and financial infrastructure, I think there are a lot of very high quality initiatives. All of you have talked about it. I won't go into too many details of that, but I think broadly the investments in infrastructure by and large, and also segments that will propel growth for other sectors, whether it is roads, real estate, affordable housing, and some amount of initiative in urban transport management, etc. All of those are going to be really significant. What I am very excited about is the fact that the government remains very ambitious on its disinvestment agenda, and that there is a plan, as Nana was saying, that this whole creation of the SPV is probably a more structured, more disciplined and accountable way of pushing that agenda. What has come in the budget this year is also an attempt to monetize our land banks, and I think this is a really strong and bold step. Usually these steps can get controversial, but the government has clearly shown a commitment that it is not shying away from taking strategic, bold decisions that are in the interest of the country. I think it can be a very good way of augmenting resources. In terms of, I think in terms of ease of doing business, and as Devin was saying, that trusting the taxpayers, there are some very clear initiatives. The reduction in the period of dispute, reduction in the period of returns that can be opened from 6 years to 3 years is very significant. It's a really painful thing for an ordinary taxpayer to just maintain all the records and data for 6 years was totally unrealistic. In terms of the creation of this one code by reconciling all multiple codes and putting it under one agency, I think is, again, if we can get that started, that's going to be a really powerful force in terms of doing things easily. There is a clear recognition that we want capital from overseas, and those who are investing in critical sectors, there is an attempt to help them and to encourage their investments. I think many members have spoken about the positive forces that the finance minister is seeking to unlock through REIT and InvIT, and those are all really very good. Insurance going to 74%, despite some of those caveats, is a very welcome step, and I think privatization of 2 PS public sector banks and 1 insurance company is again a very good initiative. I think overall the focus on asset reconstruction and asset management is a lot more thought through, it seems, in the budget, and that should yield us better results. The attempt to push both digital and electronic payments and also use of digital technologies and digital ways of working in terms of conducting the business of government, whether it is the electronic appellate tribunal, electronic e-courts, etc. Those are really, again, very welcome moves. I think these are some of the final points. We will need to see more, as there is a lot of substance in the budget, but we'll need to go through more detail in a more detailed manner. But overall, the big messages that I see in this budget is that government is very focused on reviving the economy. Government is very focused on, very conscious of the pain that entrepreneurs, corporates, businessmen and ordinary people have gone through, and was sensitive to their need and make sure that no further liabilities came on them. There were fears being expressed that there would be a COVID test or something like that. Not imposing any such tax is a very positive recognition. And the fact that government is looking in a very focused way to raise its resources by monetizing assets that are dormant and not productive and are not pushing the national agenda is a very good move. So very briefly, those comments. Thank you.
As far as the manufacturing sector is concerned, I think what is good to see is the finance minister reiterate the PLI scheme for 13 sectors with an outlay of nearly 2 lakh crores, and then further measures for areas or sectors like textiles, where 7 textile parks are proposed to be put up. She talked about the national infrastructure pipeline, which will now go up to about 7,400 projects, and of which 217 projects worth 1.1 lakh crores have already been completed. Significant outlays in as much as energy is concerned, as far as road transport is concerned, as far as railways is concerned, urban infra, and again, just to reiterate that the quality of the expenditure is improving in terms of more and more capex as a share of the total expenditure. I think that is very good. And then, of course, the Developmental Finance Institution, or DFI, with a proposed 20,000 crore capitalization and a lending profile of 5 lakh crores over the next 3 years. Again, we'll wait to see the details on this, but this is exactly something that we had been pitching for, to finance long gestation, long duration infra projects in particular. So overall, I'm extremely enthused about the budget, and I think to use the cricket analogy that she referenced at the start of the budget speech. I think this is clearly something which has been knocked out of the park, and implementation is of course key, but I think that is something that the focus is there, and that will yield terrific results going ahead.